Hulk gives it away.
Close to the ground.
Kid.
This is my chance to prove myself.
After Avengers Battle of New York in 2012, Tony Stark and the federal government ordered the U.S. Department of Damage Control clean up the aftermath of the battle, forced rescue company owner Adrian Toomes out of business. Toomes convinces his team retain the weapons Chitauri has mined before, use it to create weapons to sell to criminals for nefarious profits. Years later, his team grew bigger and bigger, and earn a lot of money with exotic weapons. Toomes began using a set of wings that enabled him to fly, which later became associated with his nickname, Vultureman. 2 months after the superhero civil war in Germany, Peter Parker is continuing his education, after Stark said he wasn't ready to be the Avengers yet. Against the objections of his aunt, May Parker, Peter left the school's pentathlon team to spend more time focusing on Stark Industries' internship, which was the cover for his crime-fighting activities, as Spider-Man. But the world is strangely peaceful. Outside of the classroom hours, our Spider-Boy can only hang around the street, at best, stop a bicycle robbery, or help an old lady with directions. Finally, one night, he found something big case. Peter encounters a group of ATM robbers, who wear masks pretending to be the Avengers. Although they used some very modern weapons, they were quickly defeated by Peter. However, the masked bandit Hulk used a high-powered gun to shoot everywhere, caused a department store to explode. Peter rushed over to save the people inside, and let the robbers escape. He then returned to his apartment in Queens. Despite cleverly entering the house through the window, to his surprise his best friend, Ned Leeds has been waiting since when, and discovered Peter as Spider-Man. The next day, Ned curiously interrogated Parker all day about Peter's superpowers as Spider-Man. During gym class that day, Ned accidentally states that Parker knows Spider-Man after hearing a conversation from Liz, the girl Parker has a crush on. So that night, Parker reluctantly had to go to the party at Liz's house. Because Ned said earlier that Peter knew Spider-Man. So he was forced to go to Liz's house, then change into a Spider-Man suit to appear as a guest. However, he happened to see an explosion in the distance. Peter decided to leave the party, and discovered the associates Toomeses are Herman Schultz and Jackson Bryce. They are selling Chitauri weapons to the local gangster, Aaron Davis. Peter intervenes and gets a super powerful punch from their weapon. He still tries to chase the car, but is eventually pulled into the air by the Vulture.
Get away from me!
The automatic parachute in the Spider-Man suit opened and he fell into a lake. Fortunately, before he drowned, he was rescued by Iron Man. However, Stark is not in the suit. Tony just watched him from afar, and warned Peter not to involved in these dangerous criminals. The Vulture Man, or as we know it, Toomes, returned to base with his men. He was angry at Bryce for endangering the team, then accidentally killed him with one of the new weapons. Parker accidentally picked up a part from a Chitauri weapon dropped by Bryce earlier. He and Ned researched and removed the core of the power in it. Toomes learned of this and ordered Schultz to use the pulsed energy detector, find the location and go to the Midtown School of Science and Technology. But Parker and Ned Leeds managed to escape, then successfully mounted the tracking device on Schultz. Know that they are in Maryland. Knew this place was close to the site of the triathlon. With Ned's help, Parker disables the tracking device that Stark has attached to his Spider-Man suit, and unlocks all the locked features, including the built-in AI that Parker later named Karen. When he was about to leave the room, Liz invited him to swim with the group, but he refused with determination to protect the world. After hitchhiking the cars on the road, then he also reached the location of the arms dealers. However, after unlocking the suit's features, Peter was quite confused in choosing over 500 different ways to shoot Silk. Although successfully stopping Toomes from stealing the weapon inside the truck. But he got stuck, and when he tried to jump up, Peter hit his head on the roof of the truck and passed out. When he regained consciousness, he was taken to the Damage Control Bureau's archives. Maybe the doors wouldn't open until morning, so Peter started fiddling with the suit's features. Besides, the built-in artificial intelligence analyzed that the Chitauri energy core Ned was holding was unstable. It can explode when contaminated with radiation. So he quickly called Ned, but it didn't work. The situation was urgent, so Peter decided to break the door, and hitchhike several cars, quickly going to see Ned. Meanwhile, Ned accompanies the group to the Washington Monument. When everyone climbed to the top floor, the Chitauri bomb started to explode, causing the elevator to stop. Peter also arrived in time and held the elevator for the last minute. Rescue Ned and his classmates, including Liz. Thanks to the suit's built-in feature, Peter tracked down Davis's location. Peter finds him and convinces him to reveal Toombs' whereabouts. But Davis only knew that they were about to make a deal at the ship at the Staten Island ferry. Peter discovers both buyers and sellers. He unleashes Silk and easily controls them all. Immediately the FBI appeared, asking everyone to raise their hands. It turns out that their activities have been monitored by the FBI for a long time. But right now, Toombs was wearing bird wings with his super powerful gun shot wildly at Peter and the FBI. Peter used electric silk to shock Toombs' gun. However, the gun was electrified, released a tremendous amount of energy, splitting the ship in half. Toombs and his men escaped, while Peter tries to use spider silk to hold the two parts of the ship. Although he tried very hard, the ship was still flooded with water, and the spider's silk threads gradually broke. In the midst of despair, suddenly the ship was reassembled. It turns out that Iron Man has arrived, and uses his technology to re-weld the ship and save everyone. Stark then warned Peter for his recklessness. Tony reminds him that he almost killed dozens of people, as well as himself. Judging that Peter made a big mistake, and trustworthy, so Stark decides to get the Spider-Man suit back. Peter was upset, deciding to stay away from Spider-Man. Started focusing on his personal life instead. Finally, he manages to date Liz, and asks her to come to the next dance. While most of Toombs' men decided to stop, when they learned that the FBI and even Stark had an eye on their activities. Toombs convinces them all to make one final heist. This case is big enough for them to live a lifetime. On the night of the dance, Peter goes to Liz's house to pick her up. However, a very heavy shock comes when he learns that Liz's father is none other than Toombs. Peter was still trying to maintain his composure. However, when Toombs drove the two to the dance, Toombs realizes that Peter disappears whenever Spider-Man appears, and deduces his secret. When Liz leaves, Toombs tells Peter that he will spare his life, because he saved Liz's life in Washington. But warned that he would be uncompromising if Peter continues to interfere with his plans. During the dance, Peter realizes Toombs is planning to hijack Stark's cargo plane. A plane transports weapons from Avengers Tower to the team's new headquarters. Though it's not certain if it's possible to defeat Toombs without the Spider-Man suit. Peter still decided to leave Liz behind and leave the prom, put on a homemade Spider-Man suit and run to Toombs' lair to confront him. Unexpectedly, Schultz had already ambushed Parker. He used a super strong punch to beat Peter to death. Luckily Ned showed up to help Peter defeat him. Peter seizes Flash's car, and asks Ned to track down the location of his cell phone, hidden in Toombs' car. Peter confronts Toombs at a warehouse. He began to try to convince Peter to join him, but Peter refused. So he used his wings to destroy the support bars of the building, crushed Peter under the rubble. Peter is still not dead but is pressed under many concrete slabs. In despair, he overcame his doubt about himself, and used all his strength to get out of the wreckage. He jumped up and threw spider silks on Toombs' wings, and with him flew into the sky. Toombs started breaking into Stark's drone, and prepared to steal all the property in it. Finding myself being interrupted by Peter, he got mad and tried to kill Peter, but unfortunately damaged the whole plane. Realizing the plane was going down, Peter tried to steer it towards the beach near Coney Island. The plane crashed but both survived. Toombs' wings were badly damaged, but he still tries to steal the Chitauri bombs. Parker promptly saved his life before the wings became unstable and exploded, and then tied him up. After a while, Liz moved away, and Michelle Jones will replace her as team leader of the pentathlon team. After receiving a call from Happy Hogan, Parker was invited to visit the Avengers facility. Then Stark gave Parker a suit even more advanced, and an invitation to join the Avengers. Parker turns down Stark's offer to become a friendly neighbor, Spider-Man. Upon returning home, Parker discovered that Stark had sent him another upgraded suit. He put it on and looked towards the window, then he was discovered by Aunt May the Secret.